It almost makes you hesitant to just relax in any of those verses because you know it's just going to hit the wall again. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Low End University. Question is from System of a Down's fourth studio album, Mesmerized, released in 2005, and the album sold almost 500,000 copies within its first week of release and immediately went #1 in 12 countries. And this band was really hitting at a time in my life when heavy metal was still a bit too heavy. I hadn't yet had Metallica's Black Album be introduced to me and sort of ease me through the door. But I remember that song BYOB just being ubiquitous. But as is the case with so many of these bands that really started crossing over in the early 2000s, I only ever ended up knowing the hit singles, and I never really went back and gave them a proper deep dive. And I saw some requests in the comments for their song Question. I know I hadn't heard that one. A lot of you had said the bass line was really prominent. There was some really interesting songwriting, and it's not chop suey or toxicity, so I know I haven't heard it. This is a band I've always appreciated from afar, so I'm excited to give them more of a critical listen today. Without further ado, here is Question from System of a Down. I like how that riff pulls a lot of the notes from that acoustic intro that was very ethereal, kind of dreamy. It sounded sort of like a major 7. I heard two notes that were a half step apart kind of clashing, but it didn't sound like your typical just root third 7. It sounded like sort of an inversion. This kind of sound, I want to go back and hear that again. That kind of jump scared me when the slingshot rock hit the bird. Okay. I like how it's all kind of monochromatic with the color grading, and the bird was the standout red moment. So cool setup here. Now the band's on like stage in the pit orchestra or something. Cool. It's always good to be able to see when I see the band play when they're actually in the video. Let me go back to when the music kicked in. Yeah, this part. Yeah. These kind of notes here. So it's outlining C major 7, which is one of my favorite chords. I love the major 7 sound because it's basically an E minor chord with a C in the bass. So it's a minor stacked on top of a C, or really could apply for any key, of course, but it kind of has this. Kind of like the Stranger Things theme, same type of thing. So eerie setup, and that riff that came in sort of outlined it. Okay. And it sounds like it's in kind of a weird time signature, maybe 6/8. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Maybe like a 12/8. Cool trippy meter there. Cool. It's still got some of those 3s and 2s mixed up in the riff there. Damn, that's such an intense production and guitar tone. Just really slaps you in the face. Back to this part.
Sweet berries ready for two ghosts are no different than you.
Cool. It's got the lyrics.
Ghosts are now waiting for you, are you? Sweet berries ready for two ghosts are no different than you. Ghosts are now waiting for you, are.
Sweet berries for 2. Ghosts are, what did that say? Sweet berries ready for 2.
Sweet berries ready for.
You know, it's funny these lyrics are popping up here. I guess I enabled the little caption thing here. It's not available for every video, but I had them pulled up here because I know that System of a Down is a band where you really want to pay attention to the lyrics. I know enough about them to know that that's probably something I should have context with going into one of their videos, one of their songs here. So going to be following along there. His vocals are so punchy and sharp, but so dynamic. He's one of the most unique vocalists. Just an absolute dynamic powerhouse. I've heard songs where he can get so quiet and soft and so riveting, if you will. So I like the setup here with this really fast subdivision. The bass line's moving, this cross-stick pattern in the drums. Let me find that transition again. I like how it brings back the acoustic intro for a second. Close.
Sweet berries ready for two ghosts are no different than you. Ghosts are not waiting for you, are you? Sweet berries ready for two ghosts are no different than you. Ghosts are not waiting
What a
for
vibe.
you, are you? Dream.
It's going from E to A, so kind of like if we're in the key of E minor, which would make sense because even though I said C major 7, you could rearrange the notes and put E in the bass and kind of call this E minor because all the notes in C major 7 are in E minor, as I was saying. So it's more of like a this kind of sound, almost like a first inversion with the 5 and the 6 in there having that half step. So for an E minor, that riff and then the main riff kicks in also in E. So yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Down here in E, then it goes up to A, but that bass line almost is like it's playing that acoustic intro, just the fast arpeggiated. Nope, not that. That kind of thing. And this supports what I've said in other videos about when you merge bass and clean picked guitar, they complement each other so well. I'll talk about that in a second. Let me just hear this first part again, jumping in.
Sweet berries ready for two ghosts are no different than you. Ghosts are not waiting for you, are you? Sweet berries ready for two ghosts are no different
fast.
than you. Ghosts are not waiting for you, are you?
Just some kind of like scale and thirds type thing there. Almost reminds me of the acoustic intro, just sort of reprised in the bass line. And what I was saying about that clean guitar, kind of palm muted, this kind of thing, when you put that texture, that timbre with bass, they amplify each other because the plinkiness of a pick attack on a clean guitar almost gives the illusion the bass line has more attack on it. And then the bassier, beefy part of the bass part kind of makes that guitar part sound bigger. So they sort of stack on each other and give this really intense driving line, even though there's no distortion and this isn't really an intense section. So it's this impactful but still dynamic sort of blend here with his vocals on top that just give this really eerie sort of vibe. It's just very musical.
For you, are you? Sweet berries
Those really
ready for two
angular
ghosts are
harmonies
no
too.
different than you. Ghosts are not waiting for you, are you? Dreaming, dreaming the night, dreaming alright.
Man, that you can pick his vocals out of a crowd so quickly. They're just the most unique timbre I think I've ever heard from a metal singer. I mean, that's saying a lot, but it's just very distinct. And I love that if I were to isolate just a 2 or 3 second clip of what we just heard, if I just played that for you and you didn't hear all the lead up into it, it almost sounds like his vocals are like a synth pad, a synth patch. They almost have this artificial quality to them. His vibrato is like so, it almost sounds artificial. It's so perfect. It almost out of context could sound like a a synth pad. Just kind of listen to that. I mean, that's a huge compliment because the vocal timbre is so unique. I know I'm not a vocal channel, but I get carried away when you hear these really unique vocalists sometimes. Right here. Hold on. Doesn't it? Oh, I love that. Okay.
Mary's ready for two ghosts are no different than you. Ghosts are now waiting for you, are you? Sweet berries ready for two ghosts are no different than you. Ghosts are now waiting for you, are you?
Tricky little pattern.
Dreaming, dreaming the night, dreaming.
Kind of major second there. Pretty distance is what you'd call that. That little rub in the vocal harmonies there.
The night, dreaming, all right. When we go, till we
Chugging it. Whoa! My God. It just keeps getting more and more intense. It's crazy. Now he's coming in with that percussive sort of shouting thing I've heard him do in other songs. It's just such an intense, what an intense vocalist. I love how they took this riff. The whole first half of the song is a bit more melodic. You know, it's got the heavy riff. It's got the broken down verses. Now they're just adding subdivision, which is an immediate way to just take the energy and make it go tenfold more. Digga. I mean, kind of adding this kind of thing now, some fast picking. I can't really pick that fast with a normal pick well anyway. And I have to say, I'm sitting here reading the lyrics, and when I copy pasted the lyrics into my notes before this video, I'm like, it's not a lot of lyrics. There's some repetition, but they're very repetitive. So when you read the lyrics without music, you're just, you know, sweet berries ready for two ghosts are no different than you. Then it goes to the dreaming, the night, dreaming all right. Do we know when we fly, when we go, do we die? That's just sort of the recurring lyrical stanzas happening. So it seems rather simplistic. But when you put it over this music, this is one of those instances where the lyrics are more understated and you need to let the music take you all the way there. And what a song this is. So many different angular passages, a lot of jerking around, different tempos. I wouldn't even say different tempos, more just feels. Heavy to light to dark to intense. A lot of jump scary type of moments with the dynamics just turning on a dime. It almost makes you hesitant to just relax in any of those verses because you know it's just going to hit the wall again, going 90 miles an hour. So what a cool composition. Now we're getting crazy here. Jeez. Holy shit. The bass hasn't been that low ever. It's really been... Now, bassist going down to the low C. So rationing that low frequency range way down here for this part of the song at the end is the ultimate impact. It just showcases the power of bass in the sense that you can hold off on getting really low, maybe for chorus 2 or chorus 3 in a song, and just rope off these notes until later in the song and then use them for that impact. It recontextualizes that whole part we've been hearing with a different riff under it, even though the vocals have stayed the same. Brilliant stuff. Brilliant songwriting. Crazy good build here. Go a little forward. Oh! Jump scare! Oh, that fake ending. I thought they were going to end the way it started with the acoustic. One more time with those percussive, or the vocals mirror the riff. Okay, anyway, System of a Down. Not a band I was really ever into, as I said. But this is some really multi-dimensional songwriting. It's like when they get dynamic and quiet, there's still an intensity that's just simmering. That's just going to erupt like a volcano. That's part of their, I don't want to say shtick, but it's a big part of their songwriting to have that huge spectrum of intensity and just how they deliver it. Again, it's still intense in the verses with that cross stick and the moving bass part. I find their songwriting to be interesting. I love this guy's vocals, Serj. I've always just kind of, again, appreciated that from afar, but I've never really listened to their bassist, Shavo. I've never really paid attention to much of his lines. Based on what I had heard, he's always been pretty in unison with the guitars. So if there are some other System of a Down standout songs with bass being up front more prominent, I would love to check those out. Again, I probably could name you 5 or 6 songs from this band. So that's been System of a Down's question. I appreciate the few of you that have requested this. I was just intrigued to get them here on the channel after I saw Warwick built Shavo a new, really beautiful custom bass. It kind of made me think, wow, I should really give them another chance and check them out. So I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. And if you'd like to support this channel further, please come find us on Patreon. I do full albums over there. I also have tons of lessons and music theory lessons, bass lessons, all that type of stuff. And if you're not subscribed to the channel yet, please do that now. I love you all. We'll see you in the next one.